What's up? How are y'all doing today? Make sure my audio is working because I feel like it might not be. Oh no, we're good. Okay. Hey y'all. How we doing today? Who have we got so far? We got Nathan, Jacarius. We'll see you next time, Rick. Angel, Derek, DG. How are y'all? I always forget if I have Canadian viewers, but if I do, then hope you enjoyed your Canada Day long weekend. And I guess in the US, it's technically your long weekend too, I'm assuming, because 4th of July. Hey, Kawan. Hey, Jake. I'm sorry you're feeling sick, Jake. DG, you're excited for things to heat up. You're not a Sabrina fan, so give them competition. You know, if it made sense, then, you know, competition is fine, but it don't make sense. But hey, guys, how y'all doing? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH after show. Before we get into, like, the plots, I guess we should talk about some behind-the-scenes news in regards to Nicholas Chavez, who plays Spencer Castanine. Basically, he just snagged an opportunity and an acting role for season 2 of the Netflix series Monster, which is a Ryan Murphy series, who at this point has so many successful television series. I don't think I need to tell you how big this is for him to get, like, this job. With that said, there's never been a doubt in my mind that this guy could very easily break into primetime and beyond, so, like, I'm not remotely surprised that he got this opportunity, and I'm really stoked for him. Now, the first season of Monster dealt with the disturbing serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. This one, season 2 of Monster, deals with the Menendez brothers who killed their parents in the 90s. And Nicholas is playing one of the brothers. So literally a leading role in a Netflix series. And knowing how talented he is, this will for sure capture the attention of a lot of people. It's also been confirmed that Nicholas will be taking a leave of absence from GH to film this series. But that he won't be recasted during this leave either. So, you know, what do you guys think the show will do to the character of Spencer? Maybe the going-ons from this week on GH can give some insight a little bit. So we'll get into it here. What are y'all saying? You said this past week was one of the more interesting ones. They're finally kicking some stories into gear. Canada Day is the same week as 4th of July. Well, technically it's on Tuesday. Yeah. Nicholas is going to leave us. Oh, hell yeah. He probably is. Nick will make a great Menendez brother. So happy for him. Yeah, like, literally, I think he's perfect for the role. And I know that he'll kill it. And I think you guys all agree with me. I think for the majority of the audience, however you feel about Spencer as a character, I don't think there's any dispute on the guy's talent and acting. You know what I mean? Like, this guy dances, or, like, this guy acts around circles in some of the cast. So it's like, this is not surprising at all. Yeah, this guy's about to blow up. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. DG, you said I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer season. It was very well done, and I followed the real-life story of the Menendez brothers. This should be good. Ryan Murphy is a great producer. He's one hell of a producer. Like, I enjoy most of his work. I honestly couldn't watch the Jeffrey Dahmer series, like, because I knew, like, because, you know, he does, like, Ryan Murphy does American Horror Story. He knows how to do gore. And I watched the one episode, and I could barely make it through, and I was like, you know what? I already know the story. I don't need to see the artistic take that I know is going to be disturbing as hell. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to assume it's great. So, you know, it was what it was. But I know it was a successful series, controversial for sure. And we'll see how he does with this season of Monster. So I think they're gonna get rid of Spencer and break up on Trina, and then probably get them with Jocelyn again. I'm interested to see how Spencer will be written off. I'm curious about that too. Nathan, you said I heard NC was going to be gone for 2 weeks from GH while filming. Well, yeah, because the thing is, GH is now on their July hiatus as well. So they go down. So it might not affect too much in terms of what we see on TV. It's hard to say. Dahmer gave you nightmares. Oh man, yeah. And yeah, Jake, he's so talented. This will be great for Nick. His primetime career could kick off easily. Nick indeed does act circles around most of, and he more than holds his own. Yeah, it's true. He holds his own with the veteran cast, and he dances around circles on most of his regular screen partners. So it's like, I don't know. When people react to like, oh, Spencer could leave, I'm like, I expected this like almost day one, y'all. Hey, Laura. And Julie said, Dahmer gave me nightmares. I had to light candles to get rid of all the bad juju. Oh my god. Yeah, see, that doesn't surprise me though, because I know how Ryan Murphy's brain works. I watched so many of his series, you guys. Like, I just know better. I was like, I watched one and that's all I needed to know that it was going to be too messed up for me to enjoy. The Dahmer thing was very creepy. It's even more scary for me because I could have been one of his victims. He liked black men. Yeah! I'm glad I was not around. Man. Alright, y'all. But yeah, let's get into the actual storylines. So, like I said, we're gonna start with Spencer and the stories that surrounded the character and the characters that he's involved with. It's crazy that just 3 months ago, Sabrina fans were on a high during the Greenland adventure, and now just 3 months later, there's trouble in paradise, and it's coming down to the same two things that caused angst and trouble for them in the past as well. Spencer's inability to act like an adult, and Esme Prince. Trina had come over to watch a movie with Spencer at Laura's house, and whether intentional or not, Esme kept interrupting to grab something for Ace, or say that she couldn't get him to sleep, things like that, and needed him to help by singing the silly song that gets him to sleep. So Trina got frustrated and left. Shout out to the extremely auto-tuned performance from Nicholas when he sang to Ace. DG said, though I love Spencer and Esme, I'm rooting for both Nick and Avery to make it into primetime. I think they're both incredibly talented. Yeah, Avery's really, really talented too. So, I mean, I'm rooting for so much of the GH cast to like break into really big careers because you can brag about being there from the beginning. But yeah, Avery's amazing too. All right, but anyway, both Spencer and Trina agreed that they need to get Esme out of the picture sooner rather than later. So a couple days later, they, along with Joss and Dex, go to the bar where Esme had originally bought the burner phone to try and find evidence that could put her away, even though Spencer does have Victor's likely falsified evidence in his back pocket, which he hid from Trina, of course, that he kept that evidence. So when it got out that he still had it, she was not happy, but he explained that it was to keep it as a last resort if nothing else panned out. It's so funny because the other day when Trina was at the pool with Jocelyn and Dex, she had mentioned the evidence to Jocelyn, right? And how he had disposed of it. And Jocelyn didn't buy it for a second. So, it's unfortunate because Trina wants so badly for Spencer to basically believe the best in him, and he keeps letting her down a little bit. But, I think the audience at least knows Spencer enough to know that, like, Spencer's always going to fall back a little bit. Because he's a cast and he can't help it. What are y'all saying, though? DG said, I'm glad that Dex finally went before with Spencer. Spencer is an arrogant bully. It's about time he was knocked down a peg. Evan Hoffer was great in that scene. Yeah. Listen, anytime Spencer gets knocked out, it is something that he deserves for sure. But yeah, basically, back to that bar scene. So Dex was giving his 2 cents on what should be done about the situation, and Spencer couldn't handle it and tried to punch him. And then Dex gave him a knockout punch. And then good thing Dante and Sam were randomly there at the sketchy bar to put an end to things. Dex and Joss left while Spencer and Trina wound up in a screaming match that Dante and Sam observed from the corner of the bar, and they took sides and made their case to each other about Spencer and Trina, which was kind of funny to see. Honestly, I didn't hate the Dante and Sam scenes from that episode. Did they necessarily need to be there? No. But we really don't see this couple go out and be a couple and do normal coupley things, like slow dance in a bar, so whatever. It was fine. It's more interesting than a lot of the stuff they do typically. But yeah, back to the couple at hand, though. Trina went to the hospital to vent to her mom, while Spencer went back home to sulk about his bruises on his abs of steel that Esme was all too desperate to be around, going as far as giving him ice to put on the wounds, and he wasn't thrilled about that either. So, what are y'all saying? Y'all are talking lots today. I'm like missing all these things. Laura, you said let's make that more accurate, Esme, Spencer's attitude, and Portia's manipulating Esme into doing things that will irritate Trina, like the parenting class. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Nathan, you said, what's the point of Spencer punching people? He may be an arrogant prince, but he's a Castine at the same time, who's above the ignorant pest index. DG, you said, I love how Portia is trying to push Spencer and Esme together. I don't blame her for trying to get a Castine out of her daughter's life. Castines are bad news, period. Jakey said, no, for real, I was so proud of Dex. Nathan says, Sante equals filler. You ain't wrong. Kaiwan, you said, I think Spencer's in love with Jocelyn in this. But he's not. Let it go. It's just like they've been in each other's lives for like the entire life. Like, honestly, from my opinion, I feel like he sees her as a sister, and he's just protective of like their history. But at the same time, like he Cam's his best friend, so like he's automatically putting all that anger towards Dex because there's no history there. Like, if Jocelyn and him had less history, he'd probably like knock her out too, honestly, or like punch her. But he just, because of their history, he's just being a bit more calm about it. But he's not thrilled of her choices either. Laura, you said the high setter isn't that sketchy, nicer than a lot of places. BG said Dante and Sam are just filler. I don't care because I'm not into them as a couple. But if I were, I'd be disappointed in their lack of airtime. I mean, I'm not a fan of them. I just think that, like, it's nice to see them do something beyond, like, I don't know, be around Drew and the Corinthoses, like, all the time. That's all they do. So it's nice to kind of see them away from that for a bit. Santé is such a waste of time. Why the show hasn't brought back Lulu makes no sense whatsoever. Hey, Freddy. Alright, so anyway, here's where things took a turn in these scenes. So while Trina started warming up to her mom and venting about their situation, Spencer started being nice to Esme, explaining about the brawl that he got into and why he dislikes Dex, that they got together while Joss was still seeing his best friend Cam, and then he started talking about the good parts of his and Esme's past relationship, not without mentioning that it was all a manipulation on her front, but still it felt like the show was heavily implying that a potential hookup could happen in the future due to both of their, lack of being able to control their anger and how they lash out and make mistakes when they're just trying to be better people. And Spencer agreed to take parenting classes with Ace and Esme as well when Esme invited him to do so, which was actually suggested by Portia, since Portia knows Spencer is bound to put Ace ahead of her own daughter. Plus, all these other couples on the show that episode were having these really intimate moments at the same time. It was giving Summer of Sleaze 2.0, y'all, and that is not an era I want to revisit, even with new couples. Spencer loves Trina. Not a fan of Dante, Sam, or M. Ryland as Leslie Liu. I would have written all three out 3 years ago. Yeah, I want Lulu back as Julie Berman. That's no secret. Y'all know how I feel about Emmy, and y'all know how I feel about Julie. But if we can't have Julie, then let's bring another actress to play Lulu, because they can't keep her in a damn coma forever. Like, at this point, she's been in a coma longer than Laura was. Well, not quite. We're getting there, though. You know, she was in a coma for 4 years, Laura, and then she, like, came back, 2 years after that, and then was out of her coma permanently. What else are y'all saying? Spencer was being too nice to Esme. I hope Spencer loves Trina enough. That's the thing. I think that Spencer loves Trina for sure, but he also can't help himself but to, like, I don't know, to, like, embrace the moodiness of being a Cassadine, like, and the impulsiveness, and, like, you know, those words from Trina probably stung like a biatch, and, like, you know, I feel like if she were to make it feel like she was done with him, he would probably turn to Esme. That's how I feel. And, like, I think that the story could go there for sure, especially if he's going to be gone for a little bit, and if he gets success with his Netflix series, and then beyond that, then, like, he ain't going to be on much longer for GH. Spencer doesn't know what love is. I can't wait for Esme to seduce him like she did with Nicholas. Spencer and Esme are from the same background. He had nothing in common with Trina. Esme has been attracted to Spencer since they told her that he was her boyfriend. I mean, you can't blame her for being attracted to Spencer. You know what I mean? I think until his little brother, Spencer has never loved anyone but himself, to be honest. That's true. Nina has her way with amnesia. Man, we'll talk about that too. The fact that GH is doing this is disgusting. Esme hasn't even paid for what she did by drugging Trina. Not to mention all the other things she did. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, Portia's plan to get Trina away from Spencer seems to be working with very little effort made apart from nudging Esme to put her differences with Spencer aside for Ace's sake. And I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. Like, y'all know I adore Spencer and Trina, and that I've seen them, that I see them as close to being like a quote-unquote super couple that the modern era can get to that. Just based on how they were being written, like the build-up towards them, the adventure in Greenland, like things like that. It's comparable, at the very least. But honestly, because it seems like Nicholas's career is about to blow up big time, and he'll no doubt leave the show to do bigger and better things, then they might just be a brief moment in time. And in order to keep Trina around, they're gonna have to make him do something awful to Trina, and then he'll leave town to lick his wounds. You know what I mean? So that she can move on to whatever's next for her. Because there will have to be a next. They'd either have to, like, get Trina off the show with him, and I don't think that they will, because I think that the writers actually do like Trina as a character. Plus, it would, like, take away most of Curtis and Portia and Taggart's stories. So, like, you know, she ain't going anywhere, even if he does. But since we mentioned Portia and that gang, let's talk about what's going on with Portia's marriage and going on between Curtis, Jordan, and Zeke as well. Like I mentioned before, Trina had stopped by to see Portia, but she didn't only speak about Spencer and their problems. Trina also mentioned that she heard what happened between Curtis and Jordan, and that she felt she was letting Curtis off the hook so easily by not mentioning it to her. But really it's because Portia didn't want Trina taking on their marital woes and have that get in the way of building a father-daughter relationship with her and Curtis. And then also, it's not really her business. Like, I see why Trina wants to know, because, you know, she's traumatized from, like, having this huge secret over her for 20 years of her life. And so, like, if she sees, like, you know, a sign of more secrets, it's gonna set her off. So I can see Trina's point of view, and I can see Portia's point of view in terms of, you know, what she thinks Trina is entitled to know about. What are y'all saying? Not really a very romance super couple hours. Well, name another couple on the show currently that can compare to any super couple from the past, though. Literally no one else. That's the reality. Okay, Portia's plan will obviously backfire. We'll see. I don't know. Because of everything coming up with Nicholas, like, everything is so up in the air for them as a couple now. Because I truly believe that, like, this will skyrocket Nicholas's career. Like, I'm convinced. I don't think there's a way around that. GG said people need to get over the sex tape. Esme is never going to pay for that. She's a young vixen. The days of bad guys always getting payback on soaps are long over. Portia's plan is already working where Spencer and Esme are concerned. Well, that's the thing, though, DG. Like, you forget that most of the audience hates Esme as a character. Like, you can like Avery, but that's just the reality. Like, most people hate Esme and want her off the show. So, like, that's the unspoken part. Like, I love Avery. I think that she's a talented actress and she's fun to watch. But she was so, like, vile that it's hard to, like, keep a character like that on a show for long term, which I think is why they did this amnesiac approach with the character in the first place, to give her a bit more staying power. And it's hard to say. I can see traces of the old Esme in her with, like, how she's been reacting towards Spencer. But I'm not necessarily convinced that she has her memory back. I think that, like those impulses are there. She just doesn't remember her past. She knows what she's been told, and she probably has a tendency to do mischievous things. But I don't think that they would necessarily give her all of her memories back. What are y'all saying? Trina's tired of people lying to her. Yeah, exactly. Like, I get it. I get where Trina's coming from. So I can't be mad at her for, like, trying to get up in Curtis and Portia's, you know, marital business. Especially with the way she kind of found out that something was going on, you know? And with that said as well, while that was all happening with Trina and Portia, Curtis paid Jordan a visit in her office, assuming that she had told Portia the truth about their kiss, only to learn that it was actually Zeke. She had explained that she didn't know who he was and needed to vent, even if it was to a stranger, and then explained how the next day Portia introduced him as her brother, and that he put two and two together and told Portia. So she didn't mention the one-night stand that they had, but funny enough, Zeke showed up to her office and Curtis wanted more details on how they met exactly, which they basically both told him none of your business. But anyway, Zeke wasn't thrilled to see Curtis there with her, and Curtis had the nerve and the audacity to say that he better think twice about running back to Portia to tell her he was there, when he wasn't even there for anything, like, you know, that Portia should be worried about. But, like, it just, like, they didn't have anything to hide, you know what I mean? But damn, does it pain him to be even more of a garbage human being than we already think that he is. Like, it's like they're purposely making him more awful. And I feel like at the same time, this man's is supposed to be like a hero or like the anti-hero. I don't even know. You gotta make something likable about him, and they're just making him less likable as time goes on, which is unfortunate. He also put Zeke on notice about running his mouth to Trina too, because by telling her to stay clear of Curtis, it had her imagination running wild, and he's just like trying to start to build a father-daughter relationship with her. So I can get why he's mad at Zeke. But at the same time, Zeke is trying to protect his sister from someone that, you know, technically cheated on Portia. Even though, like, I don't know, they were kind of estranged and, like, not officially separated, but, like, pretty much, you know what I mean? Personally, I'm still standing firm that Jordan and Portia deserve better than Curtis. So, that's where I'm at with them. Like, you know, friggin' Curtis's hypocritical ass. They hate her because they don't have a safe distance from the story. That's just a story. I've loved Esme from day one. Also, I also think Avery always added vulnerable layers to the villainy. She did. She really did. And that's why I think that she's so incredibly talented. Because you know that there's, like, it's the trauma that she's been through her whole life that has led her to the person that she was before she lost her memory. So there's stuff there. And like, I can see that. I just also see, like, when you're painted into that kind of corner, like, with an audience that is mostly rooting for, you know, the characters that are likable, like, it's hard. It's just, and I mean this in a general sense, with villains in general. It is hard to make a villain do things to the extreme and then keep them on indefinitely, because it gets frustrating. Like, you think about Peter Augustin, like, we were stuck with him for so many years, and we wanted him gone for so many years, and, like, it got to the point where it just felt like, I don't know, his connections were keeping him on to the show because people were begging for that guy to leave the show. You know what I mean? Because a lot of characters were suffering under the writing just to keep him around. Like, a lot of characters' intelligence were going under the rug with that, and, you know, at this point, I think it's hard to, it's a little bit harder for the teen scene because they're all young, and they haven't really been around for years and years and years. But, you know, they're a bit more established now to be a bit more smarter, especially with what Esme put them through. So they're on notice. So if she successfully does something to one-up them at this point, like, it would just look like they're throwing these characters under the bus to keep her around. And I don't want to get to that point because then I'm going to resent Avery. And I don't want to do that because I adore her. You know what I mean? Like, it just sucks when that kind of writing happens. They just need to balance the scales out for Esme's personality. Like, yeah, they can make her a villain, but, like, make her likable too. Give her, like, something to do besides making people's lives hell. Like, give her some friends and some, like, you know, give her some good people. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it's how Nick plays Spencer, but he shows absolutely no romantic interest in Esme. Being decent to her is not a sign of romantic interest. Just look at how Spencer looks at Trina. Yeah, like, I agree with you too, Lil M. Like, I just think that, you know, for Spencer, he did fall for Esme. So, like, he can like, think of the times where he was in love with her, but she never was. And that's a hard pill for a guy like Spencer to swallow. You know what I mean? So, I don't like, if Esme were back to her wicked ways, like, to what she was before the amnesia, like, he ain't touching her with a 10-foot pole. But if she is genuinely, like, trying to be a better person and he can actually see it and, like, put all that stuff aside, then who knows? It's hard to say. Nina was beautiful in that dress she wore at the Savoy, though. We'll talk about that too soon. I wish Zeke would have slugged him. Oh, man. Yeah, like, Zeke is so fine, you guys. I'm glad that he's a bit I don't know how long he's going to stay on the show, because now the stuff with Drew is done. So is he going to stick around town? Hard to say. DG said, I like Donald Turner and Gavin Houston as adversaries. They have great chemistry together. In this case, I don't care much about the character's actions. I just like Donnell as an actor. I like him too as an actor. That's why I hate that he's like being written so like, you know, hypocritical and like high and mighty. Exactly. Avery is treading the same line that Sarah Brown did when she first came on as Carly. She had to seduce her mom's husband, but we felt her pain that she had knowing that Bobby had given her up. The Peter August character was very cardboard. I'm glad I only saw the last month of Solo's run. You were lucky, DG. We had to suffer through that for 4 years. Didn't mind Weston Ramsey as an actor, but the character was just a mustache-twirling actor. Laura, you said not gonna lie. I'm here for the Ava Austin stuff. We're gonna talk about that too. Is that I think that's my next thing. Yeah, it's my next thing in my notes. We'll talk about that in a second. But she got this. But she got this stuff to make him touch up. I think the amnesia thing is making Esme more relatable. Yeah, I think it is too, and like that's why I don't want her to gain all her memories back. I think that like they can make her mischievous, because like the tendencies don't go away, even though her like memory did. But like to make her like so villainous, like I don't want that for the character. I want to see her growth as a human being, and I want her to, you know, occasionally slip up. And then I can handle her. Like I just want balance for her. That's all I want. People need to just get ready. The writers are laying the groundwork for Spencer and Esme to reconnect. I didn't like that shirtless scene at all Friday. I liked watching him shirtless. But yeah, no, I didn't like that Esme was like peeping around. But I can't even blame her, because like look at me reacting to Spencer shirtless. Can't blame her for, you know, being like wow and wanting to see it more. Alright guys, but let's move on. Let's talk about Ava and Austin. This whole ridiculous plot of Mason using what he knows about Nicholas and Ava to blackmail her into spying on Sonny has led her to contemplating firing Avery's nanny Pilar, since she suspects that she's suspicious of Ava. And for a moment she had decided against it, but Austin insisted that she should, because Mason is such a big bad henchman for an even bigger bad mystery girl boss. And so bad that neither he or she has done a thing to Austin in a year that we've watched him beg Austin to do the bare minimum for them, which was, I think, to patch up victims of mob shootings or something. I don't even know still, nor do I care. But like, we're supposed to believe that it's this big bad thing, and like Austin pretty much managed to avoid doing a lot of the dirty work for a year. That's what makes the storyline so ridiculous. But yeah, so basically Mason shows up dangling bits of hair found on Nicholas's body to convince her to do his bidding. Turns out he wants info on Sonny's relationship with the Pikeman Company. But anyway, later on, while Pilar was out with Avery in the park, Avery had gone missing, and for a minute I wondered if Ava set this in motion, because like, you know, it was definitely in the realm of possibility. But when I realized that she was genuinely scared and about to tell the police and Sonny about the big bad blackmailing her, I realized that she wasn't. And then in walks Austin with Avery and a balloon in hand, and it all made sense. He maneuvered it, even getting Pilar to be distracted by a fake phone call to lure Avery away with balloons, I guess. That part was still unclear. I don't know, like, how he... Like, surely she didn't just, like, notice balloons and he saw her. Like, something else had to lure her away. But anyway, he got a hard slap in the face from Ava for it. What are y'all saying? I love Esme, and hopefully Nicholas will finally return after Spencer leaves. Hard to say. Like, obviously, if they're gonna bring Nicholas back, it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be the actor that previously just finished playing him. Well, okay, the one before the stand-in when he walked off. Lilem, forcing Esme on the audience will hurt Avery on GH. GH needs to be careful on how they write her, especially considering Trina is the black woman dating Spencer. Yeah, it's a slippery slope for sure. I love the shirtless scene. They look beyond awesome and would have been like, damn boy, you've been drinking your milk. Also, if that little girl wandered off because she saw balloons, Sonny and Ava failed as parents. Yeah, you know, after all this time, it like, her like wandering off is a ridiculous plot point. But anyway, later on, Austin shows up to Windermere to discuss what's next, and she didn't want him around there either. And then he kissed her, and she pushes him off, and then she jumps his bones to the corniest music I think GH has ever played in a love scene. Like, it was so bad. I mean, which I guess is fitting since this whole storyline is a joke. Ava needs to stop being drawn to toxic men, first of all, and just leave the town at this point for her own sanity's sake. There's a point where I liked the idea of Ava and Austin too, but they've made his character a lot less likable than he already was since that point. Like, see, this is my problem here. This is another character for Roger that had absolutely no consistency from the jump. I know people had eventually grown to like Franco before they killed the character off, but we can't ignore that it took like 3 whole years and like 16 different rewrites and throwing a legacy character under the bus, like, while like also sweeping parts of the character's past under the rug just to make that happen. And it seems like we're heading down a similar road with Austin as well. They've been trying to throw him at various walls and seeing what sticks for him since he's got here, pretty much. They put him with the Quartermain family first, and then when that didn't work, they put him with Maxie, and then that didn't work, and now it's Ava. So like, it's so frustrating to watch. And in my opinion, in my humble opinion, you guys, having Roger Howarth on the show certainly isn't worth putting the show's viewers through these endless, embarrassing attempts to make a character that isn't working work. At what point, like, my thing is, like, at what point do we stop beating a dead horse? You know, everyone always talks about how great of an actor Roger Howarth is. I don't see him being anything more than average, personally. But if y'all are right about that, then he should have no problem finding work elsewhere. I'm tired. I'm over it. Let him go. Like, and I feel the same way about Michael Easton. Like, how many characters does he play now? This is his 3rd or 4th on GH. Like, and you know what? I don't even hate Finn. I think that Finn is a fine character on his own. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. So where was I in my notes here? What are y'all saying? Wow, okay, y'all are saying a lot. Hold on, let me scroll up. I enjoyed looking at Nicholas shirtless, but I didn't enjoy Esme enjoying it. Jake, you said child. Ava needs to pause up and find out who's pulling the strings. I agree. Where is Ava's spark? Laura, you said my mom pointed out Ava only hooks up with people when she's angry. Those are the best. Those are supposed to be one-offs, and also I've tidied and kicked someone out. I get it, Ava. DG said that wasn't a love scene, that was softcore porn. Jake, you said I'm getting real sick and tired of Austin. Nathan, you said poor RH, he deserves so much better. When his contract is up, he should leave along with Emmy too, by the way. Now all of a sudden they want to do something with RH as Austin. GTFOH. DG said there was nothing romantic about that scene, and of course when I saw that scene and the way Austin acted after he regressed back to being Todd Manning, wisecracking, obnoxious. DG said I agree. I think Roger was has more than worn out his welcome. Time to move on. I love him, but enough. I'm sick of both Roger and Michael E. They're worn out. they're worn out and their characters are not interesting. Laura, you said, I'm really appreciating a lot of these sex scenes aren't love scenes. I'm so tired of moony, over-the-top romance. Human beings are nuanced and like hookups too. It's true. But that music, y'all. Alright, let's move on though. Let's talk about, let's go from one ridiculous plot point to the next. Let's talk about Eddie Main. Let's do it. Remember how I had like a teeny tiny ounce of hope last week that Ned was faking his amnesia because he had ran into Nina at the Savoy and said, just who I wanted to talk to. Yeah, turns out he, for whatever reason that wasn't really explained, thought that she owned the Savoy for some reason, and he just wanted to perform there, and even tried to. Sonny and Michael were there, ironically discussing on whether or not they thought Ned was faking, thinking that he was Eddie Main. But after witnessing it for themselves, finally, they knew he was really that far gone. Nina managed to get a hold of Brooklyn to let her know that he was there after attempting to call Olivia a couple times, who obviously didn't answer. And they ran to the Savoy in time to see him attempt to take the stage and nearly collapsing. Olivia tried desperately to take him home, but he refused. So Sonny, of all people, offered to take him in, and he crashed at Sonny's place. What else are you guys saying? Alright, where was I? Okay, so Olivia had stopped by the next day with a photo album at the ready. And I won't lie, I definitely squealed when I seen a picture of Ned and Lois from the 90s. Be still my heart. I so hope Rena Silver comes back for the show for a bit. But yeah, with that said though, I scratched my head when Eddie Main couldn't remember her at all. I think he said that like her name was at the tip of his tongue or something, and that there's something familiar about her, but that's all. However, he did remember his guitar. I laughed at how absurd it was that he could remember his guitar but not his manager and ex-wife, who basically created the Eddie Main persona in the first place. Nor did he remember his mom, his daughter, or his current wife, but his guitar. Even Olivia laughed at how stupid that was. Now, after Olivia left, Sonny offered him a deal. If he stays in town, he'll put him in touch with his local connections to the music scene if he stays, which he's down for. And then Nina's shady ass steps in, trying to egg him on to see the world and chase fame, basically. Weirdly enough, despite that, he's willing to give Sonny's route a go first. Time will tell if he wants to travel across the globe later. DG said the Eddie Main story is just pointless, with Rena Sofer as Lois. That's the only thing that made it watchable in the 90s. The chem between Rena Sofer and Wally Kurth. Without that, it fails. Laura, you said, can we point out Olivia owns a damn hotel, offer Ned a suite, and back the hell off, or he's just going to run away? True. Not the damn guitar child. I think he said he may, but he's not the enemy. We know he does a different kind of cat? Huh? Laura, you said he remembered his guitar because it wasn't giving him constant shit and grief. It's the trauma. It's the trauma. You think the Cornemays would push remembering your life after amnesia? Olivia was doing too much with that photo album. Yeah, I think that she was too. Like, that was a bit too desperate. She should have just like dropped him off some clothes and been like, I know you don't want to see me, but like if you ever want to know about your real life, like come find me. And she should have left it at that. But she really did push too far. But one thing to note, by the way, this week Chase actually mentioned to Brooke that Nina witnessed Ned fall, and they're both wondering why she never spoke up about it. So hopefully they'll be keeping a close eye on Nina in the next little while and see, how she's reacting around Ned, and try to put two and two together. It's gonna be certainly a miracle if they somehow get from that to figuring out that Nina Nina was the one that put Drew and Carly to jail. Like, that's gonna be a long time away, but like they can at least suss her out, you know what I mean? But yeah, let's move on to some more Quartermain plots. Let's talk about what Eddie's mama is up to. Tracy, for whatever reason, has had her sights on Deception's Deceptor. And as you guys know, she has Brooklyn trying to look for as much information on it as she can. But we learn that she's definitely in cahoots with someone else. And it becomes pretty clear that it's Lucy's bae, Martin Gray. In the earlier part of the week, we saw him acting squirrely whenever Lucy was bringing up to people that he inspired the Deceptor, which Lucy definitely picked up on, and having the fact that he's having cryptic secret phone calls, and that he's like shying away from her a little bit. So she even invited Mac and Felicia out to the Metrocorp pool to bond with her and Martin, but mainly so she could convince Felicia to spy on Martin and see what he's hiding. Side note, we got to see shirtless Silver Fox Daddy Mac at the pool. I lived for it. I love it. I love me a Silver Fox. What can I say? Do you think Eddie Main character has a good idea for Jason Morgan? Huh? Lori said, I mean, Nina likes men with amnesia. How much do you want to bet she hooks up with Eddie Main? Oh my god. I don't think that she will. I don't think that she will. DG said, I think Nina may end up hooking up with Eddie. Do you really think so? I don't think so. She won't mean to do so, but Eddie is going after her. That will be funny. Oh man, guess we'll find out. What is the Deceptor anyway? I don't know, some kind of weird machine that helps with skincare. They didn't really explain it well. Apparently it's all the rage though. How will Eddie Main expose Nina at the wedding? Is that what you think will happen at like Sunny and Nina's wedding? That'd be cool. Lori said, I love Mac shirtless, and then the reaction as Lucy's fella decided to keep his shirt on rather than show comparison. Oh man. Yeah, I love me some Daddy Mac. He was fine in the 90s and even finer now. Anyway, Brooklyn managed to actually copy all the Deceptor information into a flash drive for Tracy, which can be good for Maxie and Lucy for sure. So big oof for Brooklyn. Alright. More Quartermain plots for y'all. Let's talk about Drew. So this week, Drew and Sam had to break it to their daughter that he would be going to prison for a while for the mistake that he made. And Scout was kind of like, okay, I remember when Mommy went to prison and I got to see her. And Sam promised that they would go every week, go see him every weekend. Of course, Carly and Drew spent his final night having sex in bed, while Cyrus made a brief appearance reading the Bible verses from his jail cell or whatever. So clearly he'll be involved with whatever Drew's story will be once he goes to prison. I don't know how much we'll actually see of it, because I think Cameron Matheson's doing a movie, right? This is kind of why they're going with the story right now. But, you know, Jeff Kober, I always enjoy seeing him. Because we see him so little, I don't know if he's faking the Christianity shit or like what his motive is if he's faking it. Because it doesn't seem to be getting him anywhere in prison. Will Ned sue Nina for her half of the Metrocourt after he gets his memory back? What do you think, Dion? I mean, I don't know. He might blackmail her. I don't know about suing her. Who is the Scout kid? Who is her mom? Scout is Sam and Drew's daughter, and Sam is her mom. Please don't tell me crew are going to have a baby together. God, I hope not. That sex scene is like people making a love child together. I don't want to see Carly have another kid. I really don't. She's messed up all of her kids at this point. I like the actor who plays Cyrus. He's someone I wouldn't mind seeing more of. Yeah, I love Jeff Kober. Like, he's an amazing actor, and I enjoyed his stint the first time around. So, you know, I'd love to see him on the show more. But they can't. They can only do so much with him in prison, and I think because there's this Pikeman storyline going on that we're not gonna see him out of prison because they got to deal with the first big bad, and also Selena Wu. Laura Wright is 51 years old. She's a bit too old to be playing pregnant. She looks good, but really, listen. You know, Janet Jackson had a kid at age 52, and you know, women are having babies in their 50s these days too, though. That's the thing. So it's not exactly uncommon. I just don't want to see it personally with Carly. Probably too old to have another kid with the defects of her last one. Oh, I forgot about that because, you know, the writers don't talk about it. Drew ain't shit as a father. Yeah, that's. I'm curious. I think we might have touched on this a little bit last week, but how are y'all feeling about Drew, like, you know, putting Carly over his kid first, with like his justifiable reason of, well, he has Sam and I trust Dante with her, and you know, Carly just has way more to lose if she goes to jail, or a lot more people have a lot more to lose with Carly in jail, was his justification for it. To me, that's bull. It's bullshit. Like, Drew, this is what I mean by unbelievable plots. Like, yes, it has to do with characters having to come and go, and so like sometimes it's just the cards that we're dealt with, but like it can be very frustrating when it's happening all too often. As I said before, if this was Billy Miller playing Drew, he would have quit the next day. There ain't no way Billy Miller would stick around for any of this crap for his character. I don't know. Like, he stuck around for, like, being thrown under the bus when Steve Burton returned. So I think he can handle that. I think he'd be able to handle, like, storylines that he's not loving. But he did something to get thrown out of the show, so to this day we don't know what it was, but it is what it is. Carly's never punished for anything. Yeah, that's what's the frustrating thing. Like, Carly never pays for anything. The only one that managed to get her to pay for anything, and really it wasn't even like anything directly, was Nell. Nell is the only one that managed to put Carly away in an insane asylum. So, like, I don't know. And this was Carly's mistake. Like, if everyone that's in Carly's, you know, circle needs her, they can visit her in prison. You know, nothing's gonna stop Willow when she's fully healthy to go and pay her a visit, and to bring Wiley over and whatever, I forget what their daughter's name is now. I could never let someone else pay for my mistake, especially something that big. Yeah, because this was all Carly. Like, Drew and Michael warned her not to do it. I think that they, like, I don't recall them mentioning insider trading when she was, like, wanting to invest, but they probably should have mentioned insider trading being a thing to her. So I think that she genuinely just didn't know that was a thing, because it's Carly. But, like, you know, I think had she known, like, the risk, then it probably would have backed her down. But this is solely Carly being a dumbass. DG said, hello, the Drew character was dumb from the start. Didn't they put Jason's memories in Drew's brain? Yeah, exactly. Drew don't care about Emily Scout. His child already missed out on him for like 3 years because he was dead. Now this. The way Martha Stewart was in the media, there's no way she didn't know it was insider trading. I don't know, like, I feel like they would have had more conversations about it, you know what I mean? I just don't remember Carly, like, being told, you know, it's insider trading, or, like, being involved in corporate espionage. Because we talk about how she's, like, this amazing businesswoman. She's not really. Like, she only got the MetroCorp because Jax, like, let her have it when he reopened it after the Port Charles Hotel fire. So, like, and then he left, you know what I mean? And then it was Carly and Olivia. She's not this, like, savvy businesswoman who knows how to, you know, do business. She got lucky. So it's not, for me, it's not out of the realm of the possibility she didn't know insider trading was a thing. She's not some amazing entrepreneur. I hope when Cam comes home that him and Trina get together. I really liked Cam and Trina. Mind you, it was Sydney that was playing her at the time, so I don't know. I don't know about, like, Tabiana's Trina with Cameron, but I wouldn't hate the idea. Carly shouldn't have to be told, like, it's obvious. Listen, from my point of view, I didn't know what the hell insider trading was. I learned it from this damn show, because I am not a businessman either. So, like, I don't know, but that's just me. That's why I can buy Carly being oblivious to the stupidity. Carly is the only one who did insider trading. Exactly! This is solely Carly's mistake. Although, like, I think, to that end, like, Drew and Michael, I think, could have just not accepted the money, right? Or was that, like, a thing that they don't have control over where the money comes from in terms of investments? I'm glad that Billy Miller has moved on from soaps. I didn't like any of the soap characters either on GH or YNR, but I think he's a great actor. I hope to see him in primetime soon. Time will tell. Time will tell. I like Billy Miller as well, though. I think that they never gave the character of Drew a fair chance to be his own thing. Because they could have very easily, like, just given him his memories back. And, like, lose Jason's memories. And give the character a clean slate to work off of. And they went with the most ridiculous route they could think of by giving Franco Drew's memories. Like, it boggled my mind. And then we had to sit there and watch Roger, for some reason, give Drew a cowboy accent. That would come and go. That's why I'm like, when y'all say, like, Roger's this amazing actor, I'm like, I don't know, that storyline with Drew as Frank and Drew, like, okay, whatever y'all say, but I think he's just, Drew should have pled not guilty like Haley Poulos pled not guilty. Did she plead not guilty? I didn't hear about that. Cam and Trina, no thanks. William Lipton has zero chemistry with Tabiana. In my opinion, I could have seen Sydney Michaela with William Lipton. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, Sydney Michaela and William Lipton had chemistry, so I hated that she, like, friend zoned him so hard. Because I was rooting for them. I really was. But that $5 million fine on Carly. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, too. Like, so on top of Drew being sentenced to, you know, 3 years in prison, Carly got fined $5 million that she has to pay as competence for the insider trading thing. It's so hilarious because, like, she lost all her money investing it in the first place. all she has left is her bit of savings, which is $5 million. So like, and she doesn't have a job, right? Carly's not working. What can like? Oh man, someone had mentioned this though, and I think it would be a unique way to tie it in. But Bobby, obviously, we're gonna have to address the character's absence, and I think that they're gonna eventually kill the character off. And I think Bobby has some set funds somewhere via her marriage to what was it, Stefan Castadine? And she's just been living on her own means, like with her work and stuff. But she probably has a lot of that money saved. So that could pay off Carly's debt, I guess. But it's hard to say whether they're going to write that in because of the writer's strike right now. So, you know, the writer's strike was already happening before Jackie passed. So they haven't written anything new, and I don't think that they can really write something like this in. Obviously, the actors are still working, and that's why I'm saying, you know, they have a year's worth of material that's already been planned out. How much of that has gone into scripts already is hard to say. Because, like, the actors were still shooting GH up until just now, this weekend. So, but now they're just on, like, their regular month, you know, dark studio time. In order to appreciate Roger as an actor, you have to go back to the 90s and watch One Life to Live when he started out as a frat boy rapist. Excellent, intense stuff. Carly was so upset and said now she has to get a job. Carly's like, I have to get a job, and oh my god. Yes, God forbid you work for a living, Carly. Laura said, I'd still like to know how the hell Carly and Drew didn't realize that they could have got married and it would have put a wrench in the whole investigation. Yeah, considering how many times she did that for Sonny. Thought Carly would have more than $5 million in the bank. She's only a little rich. Yeesh. That's because she invested all of her money into that stupid business move. Carly and Drew, sorry. I understood what you said. Don't worry. Insider trading sounds like a victimless crime. Doesn't Bobby also own Kelly's now? I don't even know. Yeah, she does. So I guess Carly could run Kelly's. This is such a terrible year for Carly. She's about to lose her mom on top of all that. Yeah. The storylines we're seeing right now, Dion, are from Chris and Dan. The Scab Writer stuff shouldn't be debuting in a couple of weeks in July, and I can't wait. But do we know that they got Scab Writers? Because there's a bit of back and forth on that, on the fact that like it's all the writers, and like so there's not going to be Scab Writers coming in because they could have come in for all the shows that are on a standstill right now, right? Or are soaps fine because of that? Like, is soaps the exception of that rule? Insider trading is how the rich are staying richer and sticking it to everyone else. That's how monopolies are built. True. Yes, Haley Poulos pled not guilty this week. Well, the evidence will talk. But that's that on that. Simple as that. Carly's not going to get a job. She's going to marry another rich man. Scab Writers are kicking in soon. That should be a hoot. Scab Writers wrote the freezing of the Port Charles in 1981 during that strike. Head writers disavowed that plot. So like I'm hoping that the Scab Writers come in for GH. I've heard mixed messages on that though. I personally enjoyed the last time we had Scab Writers on the show in 2008. They told better stories than Guza did. They do have the Scab Writers. Okay, Chris and Dan are part of the WGA union, so they're out for the time being, and the Scabs are until a new deal is announced. We need change on GH badly. Okay, well, if that is the case truly, then I'm excited for Scab Writers to see what they can do with the show at this point. And hopefully they realize, because this is the 60th year for GH, they got some work to do to make the show, you know, worthy of a 60-year celebration. Oh man. All right, let's get back into the show, because it's almost 11. Jeez. Almost 11 here now. What happened big in 08? I was hardly watching then. They got away from the mob and told hospital stories was the biggest thing. They gave Monica her first storyline in years with her alcoholism, and like made her like the focal point in a story where Sam got hit by a car by Monica. Like, and you know, they gave Rick a love interest and got him away from Sonny. They the hospital bomber storyline was really cool too. The hostage crisis at the hospital, and they used a lot of the night shift characters in that story too. For me, GH started to fall apart after 2001. JFP came in as EP. For sure. All right, yeah, it's getting late, guys. Let's wrap this up. All right, we got 3 more things to talk about in terms of story, and they're quick notes because it's a bit of fluff and more so than like the regular plots. So, first of all, Anna's going through it. This woman's going through it because she is burning every achievement she ever made with the WSB in the fire pit. She's avoiding all of her friends. Laura, Robert, and Felicia, they desperately tried to get her out of the house to no avail. And when Felicia and Laura gave her a pep talk, she actually wanted to go with Laura and Valentine to Technia, except her situation would only make things more complicated for them. Even though Laura would trust Anna with her own life, it would draw too much attention to them. Fair enough. Furthermore, someone vandalized Anna's place and she felt really nothing about it, but Valentine wanted to stay in town as a result, but she insisted he go and help her and that she'd be fine. He reminded her that she spent nearly her entire life making up for being a double agent, and that people that love and know her know that she's a good person and is a hero. So hopefully Anna can hang on to that and stop kicking herself when she's already down. Next plot, Elizabeth and Finn. More added fluff. Violet set up a date for Liz and Finn at their house. It was cute, I guess. At this point, I'm neither here nor there with Finn and Elizabeth. You know, it's just is what it is with those characters. Violet is so cute. She's cute. But personally, I would rather see Elizabeth, you know, in her role as head nurse and see her dealing with shit at the hospital than putting her in a romance. And then finally, Sasha. Sonny invited Sasha into the house because Gladys had shown concern that she may not be ready to lift her conservatorship, and she and Sonny had a good heart-to-heart about what she's been going through and how she really feels about ending her conservatorship and whether she's ready or not. Sasha admitted that she is nervous, but there's something in her head that is telling her that she's ready. So hopefully we see her confronting Gladys on like beating around the bush with that. On a lighter note, though, in regards to Sasha and Sophia Matson, who plays her, Sophia had her baby girl last week. So it's only a matter of time before she's off screen for whatever reason, and then back again without all the hilarious camera angles to block her pregnancy. But that probably means that we're going to have Sasha go through something shitty so that she's off screen for a while. Okay, what are y'all saying? Hospital story as well. Monica hit Sam with her car. Dang, and she didn't die. She hit Sam pretty hard. Like, Sam was going after the text message killer. Or no, the text message killer was going after Sam, and she was fighting off the text message killer and knocked him out, and then Monica just ran through and hit her. It was crazy. Although we didn't know who hit her at first, because she was on the road, but so was Carly, who was distracted, and so was Elizabeth, who was falling asleep at the wheel. So there was, and Nicholas was also on the road and blacked out. So there were suspects, but Monica was, in the end, the person that did it. And I think that I felt like it was pretty obvious that it was Monica, just because what we saw her do afterwards. And like she was literally drinking in the car and dropped her flask and then hit Sam. So like it made the most sense. Is GH on normal hiatus now, or is this the writer strike? GH is on normal hiatus. Roger was great on One Life to Live, not GH. Laura denied her help. How stupid was that? No, it made sense because like she's she's really in the media right now, and she's gonna draw some unwarranted attention. Fennell Hughes is giving great performances. Her consistency with the character is amazing. I still don't like annotating a Cassadine, but she does have good chemistry with JPS. Finola is amazing. I think she's doing a wonderful job at like telling the story with her grief, but she definitely needs to pick herself up because she's not just been with the WSB this whole time, She was the police commissioner away from the WSB for a long time too. What else? GH is still filming. The writer strike doesn't affect the actors and actresses. Frank needs to realize that Finn and Liz are boring. Time to move on. Recast the part of Lucky. Laura, you said Violet has set up a cute date. I like she's a fan because it wasn't like her weird and obsessive relationships of the past. Oh, with Finn, you mean? Nathan, you said I love Fennell Hughes as Anna, but when in the world are we going to see her more happy with Valentine? I hate when we get weepy Anna. DG said I want a big hospital story for Liz. I'd write that she discovers a secret that's been hiding for years that recounts the hospital's history. That would be cool. It is still the 60th anniversary after all. Yeah, this is what bums me out, because the 50th anniversary felt like they celebrated that 50th anniversary the entire year. You know what I mean? And even leading up to the 50th, you could tell they were building to something, and it stayed that way for the whole year. And GH, it felt like they did something in March, and then ended it as soon as April 1st passed. So, what else? The text message killer. Why doesn't it surprise me that the Scabs wrote that? Well, no, technically Guza did write the text message killer. But I don't think that Guza had an ending planned out. And I think had they done that, Jason would have been the unsung hero of the text message killer storyline and how it ended. And I don't necessarily know that Diego would have been the killer either. But the fact that this is how you could tell this was the Scab writers. The storyline didn't end with Jason and the TMK facing off. It ended with Diego, Maxie, whose sister Georgie died, Nicholas, whose wife died, and Spinelli, who was a best friend to Georgie. So this was about them. They were the biggest victims in the storyline in terms of losing their loved ones. They were like, yeah, Jason lost Emily too, but Nicholas lost the love of his life. And Maxie lost a sister and Spinelli a best friend. So like, it felt right that they put those three for Diego's final moments alive. And I don't think that would have happened at all. I don't think that they would have been anywhere near the TMK. They would have made it all about Jason and his pain over losing his sister as usual. And that's why I appreciated how the text message killer storyline ended. Not that Jason didn't get big scenes. He got, a bit of a scene with Diego. And so did Elizabeth. And Sam. But it still ended with who I felt it should have ended with. Funny, it's usually rich people who hit someone with a car. The ones who can be affording a ride. Oh, man. I hope we get Diane's storylines. Oh, yeah, we had Diane sort of confront Robert on, him not returning her calls or calling her when Holly left town. We'll see where that goes. We had some funny scenes of Alexis and Diane attempting yoga too. Any story with Diego was terrible. The character was pointless and the actor was terrible. Any story with Diego. Killing off Georgie for that stupid plot was ridiculous. Lindsay Lefferman was a great young actress, and Dylan and Georgie were a super couple. So when Georgie died, that was still Guza. I think the scab writers came in, I think, the end of January is when we started seeing the scab writers, and we only seen it for a couple months, so they were already out by like end of March. Killing off Georgie for that stupid plot was ridiculous. Oh, sorry, I already read that. Yeah, it was so wrong that they killed her off. Dylan and Georgie, I wouldn't have called them a super couple, but they were adorable. But they had already kind of ruined Dylan and Georgie at that point anyway. So, and Dylan also left the show. Alright, y'all. But it is 11 o'clock my time, and probably much later where y'all guys are. So, on that note, we are back to doing reactions on Wednesdays. We're going back to it. So, as soon as this live stream is done, I'm going to make a poll this Wednesday, and I'm going to leave it to you guys to decide. We're going to decide between watching some classic Eddie Main scenes in the 90s, or I'm going to try to find some clips pertaining to Anna as a double agent. So I'll make a poll. You guys can choose between the two, and that's what we'll react to this Wednesday. Monica went through a lot after Emily died. I'm just glad that her and Jason made up because losing Emily affected them both. True. Can Diane just try him out on a one-night stand and decide if he's worth it? Yeah, I'd be down for that. But yeah, anyway, I will catch you guys this Wednesday. I'll make the poll as soon as I'm done live streaming here. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I will catch you guys this Wednesday. Peace out. Bye.